In this video, we'll go through exam questions that cover the criteria, follow the order of precedence of operators, including indices. You can locate the questions on the BIDMAS.com website under Level 2. The questions come from different exam boards. We'll start with the non-calculator questions and then we'll move to the calculator questions. Here is the first question. Work out 700 take away 7 squared. 7 squared, that is 7 times 7. So what we're going to do is 700 take away 49. So obviously you can't do 700 take away 7 and then square it because there are no brackets around 700 take away 7. The only thing that's being squared is the 7. That's why we need to do this as 700 take away 7 squared. You could also link it to BIDMAS. We've got brackets, indices, which is powers, and in this case that is squared. That's a power, that's an index. And then we've got division, multiplication, addition and subtraction. So what we have in this expression is subtraction and index, so squaring. Obviously, as you can see from BIDMAS, indices come first, so that's why we do 7 squared first. So 700 now, take away 49. We're taking away 9 from 0, which means we've got to borrow. Looking on the left, we've got a 0 again, so we can't borrow from the 0. That's why we're going to borrow from the 7. So 7 becomes 6, this becomes 10. Now we can borrow from it. So making it a 9, and this becomes 10. 10 take away 9 gives us 1. 9 take away 4 gives us 5. 6 take away 0 gives us 6. So 651 is the answer. The other way to work this out, 700 take away 49, would be to take away 50 and then give back 1 or add 1. So 700 take away 50, you could easily do it in your head, it's 650. Add the 1 because we literally took away 1 more than 49 in the first place, so that is 651. Work out square root of 64 times 12 minus 7. So I'm going to write BIDMAS on the side. So we've got square root, which comes under indices, and we've got brackets and subtraction. So this tells us that we need to do brackets first, so I'm going to keep square root of 64 as it is, times 12 take away 7 gives me 5. Now I've got to do the index, which is square root of 64. So square root, that's the opposite of squaring. 8 times 8, that is 8 squared, which is equal to 64. The square root of 64 is equal to 8. So in other words, I'm looking for that number that I squared in the first place to get 64. So that is 8 now times 5, which gives us 40. Jessie needs to work out how much bonus she will pay each of her workers for the last month. She uses this formula to work out the bonus payment. B is equal to 0.015 times T divided by N, where B is the bonus payment per worker in pounds, T is the total sales in pounds, N is the number of workers. Last month the total sales were £38,000. Jessie had 3 workers. Work out the bonus payment each worker will get. So we've got to replace T and N with the numbers that have been given to us. So B is equal to 0.015 times T, which is 38,000, divided by n, which is the number of workers, and that is 3. So first I need to do the multiplication, 0.015 times 38,000, and I can't use a calculator. Now I could use any method, like a column method, to work it out, which would be quite long given the number of digits. What I'm going to do instead is this, so 0.015 times 38,000, that is 38 times 1,000. So I can break it down like that, and it's absolutely fine. I decide myself on the order because order doesn't really matter in multiplication, so I could multiply 0.015 times 1,000 first. So we know when we multiply it by 1,000, the decimal point is going to move 1, 2, 3 places to the right to make the decimal bigger. So we're going 1, 2, 3. So this becomes 15 times 38. So now it's easier to work out. And I'll do 38 times 15. 5 times 8, that is 40. So 0 down and 4 carried over. 5 times 3, that is 15. And the 4, that is 19. Finish with a unit, so we put a 0 down here. 1 times 8 is 8. 1 times 3 is 3. So adding these two numbers together, 9 and 8 is 17. So 7 down, 1 carried over. 3 and 1 is 4, and the 1 is 5. So 570. So 0.015 times 38 times 1,000 is equal to 570. The next step will be to divide this by 3, because we've got now 570 divided by 3. So 570 divided by 3, how many 3's fit into 5? That's just 1, and we have 2 remaining. How many 3's into 27? That is 9. Nothing is remaining there. How many 3's into 0? That is 0. So 190 is the final answer. We've got 8 plus 2 times 6, all in brackets, squared. So referring to BIDMAS, we have brackets, we have indices, we have multiplication and addition. So we'll do the brackets first. Within the brackets, we've got addition and multiplication. We know that multiplication comes before addition. So we'll do 8 plus 2 times 6, that is 12. So now, within the brackets, we've got 8 add 12, which is 20. And that's been squared. So what is 20 squared? That is 20 times 20. 2 times 2, that is 4. Add in the 2 zeros, so that gives us 400. Now we've got 900 plus 1500 divided by 300. We haven't got any brackets. We only have addition and division. As you can see, division comes before addition, so that's what we're going to do first. So 900 plus 1500 divided by 300. How many lots of 300 fit into 1500? That is 5. If you couldn't work it out in your head, you can always do 1500. You know that division is just like the fraction line. So we can divide both numbers by 100 to get 15 divided by 3. That is just 5. So now we've got 900 add 5, which is 905. We've got 3 squared divided by 3 minus 28. So referring to BIDMAS, we've got indices, we've got division, that's the fraction line there, and the subtraction. So what we're going to do first is the index, the squaring. 3 squared, that is 3 times 3, which is 9. We keep the rest as it is for now. So now we only have the division and the subtraction, so we'll do division first. 9 divided by 3 gives us 3 minus 28. So if you think of a number line or thermometer, we've got 0 here, we've got 1, 2, 3, and we going down by 28 degrees, for example. So 3 up to this point to get to 0, and it will be another 25 going down, because 3 and 25 makes 28. So we're going to get to negative 25 when we take away 28 from 3. Now we've got 5 to the power of 4. So that means 5 times 5 times 5 times 5. So it's 4 times multiplied by itself. 5 times 5 is 25. If we multiply it by 5, then we get 5 times 5, 25. So 5 down, 2 carried over. 5 times 2 is 10, and the 2 is 12. So 125. Final step is to multiply that by 5. So 5 times 5 is 25, 5 down, 2 carried over, 5 times 2 is 10, and the 2 is 12, so 2 down, 1 carried over, 5 times 1 is 5, and the 1 is 6, so 625 is the answer here. Now we have to calculate 8 minus 4 squared, that is all divided by 8, because we know the fraction line means division. Let's write BIDMAS on the side. So we've got subtraction, we've got indices and division. Let's just do the index first before we do division and subtraction. So we'll rewrite this as 8 minus 4 squared. 4 squared, that is 16. So that's all divided by 8 though. So although this tells us that we need to do division first, because it's part of a fraction and the top number is multiplied by the bottom number, that means we need to do 8 take away 16 first. So 8 take away 16. So we go down by 8, we're going to go down by another 8 to get negative 8. So this is negative 8 divided by 8. So negative 8, if you think of it as ice cubes, because they're called negative, so 8 ice cubes divided by 8, so shared by 8 people, that will be 1 ice cube per person, so that is negative 1. You'll also know that when you multiply or divide a positive and a negative number, the answer will be a negative 1. Now we've got square root of 15 minus 6, all divided by 3. So we've got a square root, which will come under indices. We've got subtraction, and we've got division. So first one is the index, the square root. So square root of 15 take away 6, that is 9, divided by 3. So square root of 9, that is 3, divided by 3 gives us 1. As the number divided by itself gives us 1. Got to calculate 6 cubed minus 8 divided by 2. So BIDMAS, we've got indices, subtraction and division. Okay, so we need to do the index first. So that is 6 cubed, which is 6 times 6 times 6. 6 times 6 is 36. Now we're going to multiply it by 6. 6 times 6, 36. So 6 down, 3 carried over. 6 times 3, that is 18. Add the 3, that gives us 21. So 216. So 216, take away 8 divided by 2. So now we have only subtraction and division, and we know that we need to do division before we do subtraction in this case. So we're going to do 8 divided by 2, which is 4. So 216 take away 4, which gives us 212. Got to calculate 16 plus 6 squared times 4. Write the answer in the box below. So 16 plus 6 squared, that is 6 times 6, which is 36, times 4. So we've got addition and multiplication. We know that multiplication comes first, so we'll do 36 times 4 first. 4 times 6, that is 24. So 4 down, 2 carried over. 4 times 3 is 12, and the 2, that is 14. So 144. So now we've got 16 plus 144. So if I add 16 to 144, 4 and 6 is 10, so 0 down, 1 carried over. 4 and 1 is 5, and the 1 is 6. 1 add 0 is 1, so 160 is the answer. Work out 25 take away 2 times 3 squared. So we've got to do the powers first, so BIDMAS can remind us of that, because we have indices, we have multiplication and subtraction. So we'll do 25 take away 2 times 3 squared is 3 times 3, which is 9. So now we have subtraction and multiplication. We need to do multiplication first, so we're going to do 25 take away 2 lots of 9, which is 18. 25 take away 18 gives us 7. So the answer is 7. Circle the value of 4y squared when y is equal to negative 3. So 4y squared. So negative 3 squared first, because we need to do the indices or powers first. So negative 3 times negative 3, that is equal to 9, because multiplying a negative by a negative gives us a positive, and 3 times 3 is 9. So now we have 4 times 9, which is 36. So the answer is 36. Got to work out 61 take away 4 times 2 cubed. So again we got to do the index here, the power first. So 61 take away 4 times 2 times 2 times 2. That is 8. Now we've got subtraction and multiplication, so that means we need to do multiplication first. So that is 61 take away 4 times 8, which is 32. So 61 take away 32. We've got to take away 2 from the 1, which means we've got to borrow 1 from the 6. So 6 becomes 5, this becomes 11. 11 take away 2 gives us 9. 5 take away 3 gives us 2. So 29 is the answer here. Work out 2 cubed times 16 minus 4. So we've got index power, we've got multiplication, brackets, and subtraction. So BIDMAS tells us we need to do brackets first. So 2 cubed times 16 take away 4, that is 12. So after the brackets we've got indices, so that is the power here, 2 times 2 times 2, which is 8 times 12. Now you might know by heart that 8 times 12 is 96, but if you don't, you can split the 12 into 10 and 2 and then multiply 8 by each of them. So 8 times 10 is 80, 8 times 2 is 16, adding them together gives us 96. Now we move into the calculator questions. Here is a formula. M is equal to 2.67a divided by 4y. So let's replace the letters with the numbers, because we've got to find the value of m when a is equal to 8 and y is equal to 3.5. Give your answer correct to 3 decimal places. So we'll rewrite this as m is equal to 2.67 a. So that means times a. If there is no operation, it always means multiplication. So times a, which is equal to 8, and that's all divided by 4y, 4 lots of y, and y is 3.5. So we'll treat this like a fraction because it is a fraction. So we'll do the top number divided by the bottom number, but we need to first work out what is the value of the top number by doing 2.67 times 8, which is 21.36, and the bottom number, or the denominator, that is 4 times 3.5, so that is 14. So 21.36 divided by 14 gives us this long number, 1.5257 1, 4, and so on. I'll stop there, and we've got to give our answer correct to 3 decimal places, so that is 1, 2, 3 places after the decimal point. So this will be the cutoff point. We'll look on the right to decide what we do. That's a 7, so if it's 5 and above we round up, so this number now becomes, this digit in fact becomes 6, and the digits in front remain the same. So 1.526. Chen reads about some footprints that were preserved in volcanic ash. The foot length was 18.8 centimeters and the stride length, which is the distance between the footprints, was 164.5 centimeters. Archaeologists use the formula R is equal to stride length divided by 4 times foot length. Chen uses a calculator to calculate R for the footprints found in the volcanic ash. She enters 164.5 divided by 4 times 18.8 and gets the answer 773.15. Explain what Chen has done wrong. Let's do the calculation first and see how that compares to Chen's answer. So we've got the formula, which is R is equal to stride length, which was 164.5, and that will be divided by 4 times the foot length, which is 18.8. So what we're going to do is top number divided by the bottom number. Top number is 164.5 and the bottom number is 4 times 18.8, which is 75.2. So we'll divide now 164.5 by 75.2, which gives us 2.1875. So the answer we get, 2.1875, is so different from Chen's answer, which is 773.15. What have they done? They've done 164.5 divided by 4 times 18.8, while they should have done the multiplication first before they divide it. So we're going to write that there. They should have multiplied before dividing. The diagram shows Cameral's bathtub. The bathtub is a prism with a cross-section in the shape of a trapezium. Cameral uses this formula to calculate the capacity of this prism. C is equal to 0.5h multiplied by A plus B in brackets times L, where C is the capacity of the prism, A is the width of the bottom edge of the trapezium, B is the width of the top edge of the trapezium, H is height of the prism, L is the length of the prism. Cameral normally fills the bathtub with water to 78% of its capacity. He thinks that if he fills the bathtub to 72% of its capacity, he will save more than 40 litres of water. Is Cameral correct? Show how you decide. So first of all, let's work out the capacity of the bathtub. So we've got the formula. So we have C is equal to 0.5 times H, which is the height of the prism, and that is 600 millimeters. Rather than keeping it as 600 millimeters, I'm going to convert it into meters, because we're going to need to convert into liters later on and use this formula which goes 1 cubic meter is equal to 1000 liters, which is normally given to you. So I'm going to convert this into meters. It's 600 millimeters at the moment. To convert it into centimeters, we divide by 10, so we get 60 centimeters. To get it into meters, we divide it by 100, because there are 100 centimeters in a meter, so that gives us 0.6 meters. So I'm going to multiply this by 0.6. Open the brackets, we've got A, which is width of the bottom edge of the trapezium. So that is 700 millimeters. Again, that is 70 centimeters, which is also 0.7 meters. So I'll put 0.7 here, plus B, which is width of the top edge of the trapezium, and that is 800 millimeters, which is 80 centimeters, and it is 0.8 meters. So I'm going to add 0.8 here, and then we've got times L, which is length of the prism, and that is 1800 millimeters, so that is 180 centimeters, which is 1.8 meters. So multiplied by 1.8, we can use a calculator to work this out. So I'm going to do what is within the brackets first, because BIDMAS tells us so. So keeping the rest as it is for now, 0.5 times 0.6 times, because there is no operation, it means multiplication, and when we have brackets and no operation, it also means multiplication. So within the brackets we have 0.7 plus 0.8, which when we add gives us 1.5 times 1.8. So using the calculator, we do 0.5 times 0.6 times 1.5 times 1.8, that gives us 0.81. And that is cubic meters. So this was supposed to be 1 cubic meter. I said a cubic meter, but for some reason I wrote cubic centimeter. So 1 cubic meter is equal to 1,000 liters, and we could convert this now. So what about 0.81 cubic meters? How many liters is that equal to? So to get from 1 to 0.81, we multiply by 0.81. So we're going to do the same on the other side. So 0.81 times 1,000, that gives us 810 liters. So 810 liters for the full capacity. He thinks that if he fills the bathtub to 72% of its capacity, he will save more than 40 liters of water. So difference between 78% and 72%, that is 6%. So 6% of 810, is that equal to 40? That's the question. So 6%, that is 6 out of 100 of 810. So we can use the calculator to do 6 divided by 100, that is 0.06 times 810 gives us 48.6 liters. 48.6 is more than 40 liters of water. So is Kamal correct? We're going to say yes, it's more than 40 liters. Should have written it here. $40 liters. But we've shown the working out, so even if you just write yes in here, should be sufficient. The main stage is a square-based pyramid. Pavel needs to work out the surface area of the 4 triangular faces of the pyramid. He uses this formula. So we've got A is equal to 4 lots of BH divided by 2, where A is the surface area of the 4 triangular faces of the pyramid in square meters. B is the length of the base of the triangular face in meters. H is the slant height of the triangular face in meters. Pavel thinks the total surface area of the 4 triangular faces of this pyramid is 1,200 square meters. Is Pavel correct? So we've got the formula, which is A equals 4 times B, that is the length of the base, which is 40. And H is the slant height of the triangular face, which is 30. So times 30 divided by 2. So we've got brackets, we've got division, multiplication. So we'll do brackets first. So 4 times, within the bracket we've got this fraction, so top number, that is made of 40 times 30. We can use a calculator, but it's also easy to work out. 4 times 3 is 12. Add the 2 zeros, gives us 1,200. That is divided by 2. There is no operation between 4 and the fraction, so that means it's multiplication. So we've got 4 times 1,200 divided by 2, that is 600. So 4 times 600, that is 2,400. So Pavel thinks the total surface area of the 4 triangular faces of this pyramid is 1,200 square meters. but in fact it was 2,400. So is Pavel correct? We're going to say no. It's 2,400 square meters, and we've shown the working out. To work out his commission, Chris does this calculation. We've got 194,500 times 0.03 plus 250, all divided by 1.25. Okay, so we've got to do brackets first. So we'll do 194,500 times 0.03 first, which is 5,835, plus 250, all divided by 1.25. So again, top number divided by bottom number, but top number is the whole thing, so 5,835 plus 250 gives us 6,085 divided by 1.25, which is 4,868. So that's the answer that he should get, 4,868. Calculate the value of x, where x is equal to 15 plus 84 squared divided by 3. So, BIDMAS, we've got indices, addition, and division. So we've got to do the indices first. That is 84 squared. So we'll do 15 plus 84 squared. So 84 times 84, which is 7,056, divided by 3. Now we have only addition and division. So we do division first, according to BIDMAS rules. So 7,056 divided by 3, which is 2,352. So 15 plus 2,352. So if we add 15 to the number, we get 2,367. Calculate the value of n, where n is equal to 342 plus 88 squared divided by 4. So again, we follow the BIDMAS rules. We do the indices first. So we'll do 342 plus 88 squared. So 88 times 88 is 7,744 divided by 4. So now we only have addition and division. We'll do division first. So 7,744 divided by 4, which gives us 1,936. And we've got 342 to be added to that. So 1,936 add 342 gives us 2,278. Calculate the value of p. So we've got p is equal to 0.75 times 0.095, all divided by 0.005. So let's do first 0.75 times 0.095, which is 0.07125. divided by 0.005 gives us 14.25. Now we have to calculate 6 plus 3 times 2 all squared. So we've got to work within the bracket first. BIDMAS tells us that. So we'll do 6 plus 3 times 2. So we need to do multiplication before we do addition. So 6 plus 3 times 2 is 6. So that's going to be squared. 6 plus 6 is 12. 12 squared is 144. And you can use a calculator to work out 12 times 12 if you like. Mo makes and sells jewelry. He makes pendants in the shape of hexagons. The hexagons are made of glass and have wire around the perimeter. Here is a formula for the perimeter P of the hexagon. P is equal to 6 times square root of P divided by 4, which is squared, plus W divided by 2, and that's squared as well. B is the length of the pendant, W is the width of the pendant. Mo makes pendants with length 6.4 centimeters and width 5.5 centimeters. He buys the wire in reels with 4 meters of wire on each reel. How many pendants can Mo make using 1 reel of wire? So first of all, we need to work out how much wire is needed for one of them. And we've got the formula. So we've got P is equal to 6 times, now square root of B was the length of the pendant, so the length is 6.4 divided by 4, and that's all squared, plus the width, which is 5.5, and that's divided by 2, and that's all squared. So I need to extend the square root. So I'll do the calculations within the brackets first. So keeping the 6 as it is, we've got square root as it is, and then within the brackets we've got 6.4 divided by 4. So 6.4 divided by 4 gives us 1.6, which is squared, plus 5.5 divided by 2, which is 2.75, and that's squared as well. So we've done the brackets. Now we're looking at indices, BIDMAS. So BI, that means indices. So now we'll do 6 times square root of 1.6 squared. So we're going to work that out. 1.6 times 1.6, which is 2.56, plus 2.75 squared. So that is 2.75 times 2.75, which is 7.5625. So now 6 times square root of 2.56 plus 7.5625. So I'm going to add to the number we already have here 2.56, which is 10.1225. So now we're going to do 6 times square root of this number, and in the calculator, that's this button here, often you have it without the 2, so it's just the square root, but in this particular case it has the 2 in there. It means the same thing, so that is 3.1815876. So I'm going to leave it there. So final step for this is to multiply it by 6. So times 6 gives us 19.0895. I'm going to leave it there. So about 19 centimeters, because we input centimeters. So we've got the reels of wire being 4 meters long. I'm going to convert 4 meters into centimeters. So 1 meter is 100 centimeters. So 4 meters will be 400 centimeters. So if I do 400 now divided by 19.09, I'm going to round it to 2 decimal places. Let's see how many it gives us. So 400 divided by 19.09 gives us 20.95. So obviously we can't say 21 because it's not enough to make 21, but we can say 20. X is equal to 5 and y is equal to negative 3.2. Work out the value of x plus y squared. So we've got 5 plus negative 3.2 squared. So as we're squaring negative 3.2, we need to do negative 3.2 times negative 3.2 first. So multiplying a negative with a negative gives us positive. 3.2 times 3.2, what is that equal to? That gives us 10.24. So this now becomes 5 plus 10.24. So if I add 10 to this, it gives me 20.24. And this is the end of the questions.